Off you go.
That'll be great. That'll be great. Thank you. And when you're done with the recording, are you able to send it my way, Jillian, so we can actually put this up on a YouTube channel?
Yes, no problem.
Fantastic. All right, here we go. Luke, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for doing it.
Steve, thank you.
You
I
got it.
appreciate you taking the time. Thanks.
No worries. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody, as we continue here on Sports Talk, where there's an exciting new film coming up that if you love Texas football, especially a great story, you're going to really like this. And it's funny, when I heard that Jim Dent had written the book years ago, 12 Mighty Orphans, and Jim's been on the show over the years with various projects, I got excited. And then when I saw the cast and saw that this is coming to life thanks to Sony Pictures Classics, so we got to get Luke Wilson on the show. And sure enough, you ask and you shall receive. So we're very happy to have actor Luke Wilson join us via Zoom right now, one of the big stars of the upcoming movie, 12 Mighty Orphans. Luke, welcome to Sports Talk here in El Paso. Great to have you on the show today.
Steve, thank you. Always been a big fan of El Paso, and thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
You bet. So tell me, Luke, when you had a chance to get this idea pitched to you, had you read the book before from Jim, or was it something that once you had a chance to really understand the story of what this was all about, you wanted to get involved?
Yeah, I don't. Somehow I had missed the story in the book, because that's why it was interesting when I signed on to do it, because I immediately had friends who were like, "Oh yeah, I love the book." And then friends of my parents were familiar with the book and the actual story. So I'm not sure how I missed it, because I always, in bookstores, always check the sports section and the Texana section. And but somehow I had missed it. So, I mean, it did make it fun for me to get the chance to go back and learn more about it.
Absolutely. Now, as far as your background goes, has football always been something that you've kind of enjoyed watching? Did you play it as a kid, or was it just more of the story of what, as a coach, this was all about that really hooked you?
Yeah, I mean, I played football from 5th to 12th grade, and I wish I'd kind of stuck with it through college. But yeah, that was always kind of the sport I loved as a kid. And, obviously it's the kind of thing where playing it, at home, and would always throw the football with my dad and my brothers. And then growing up in Dallas during the kind of Tom Landry, Troy Aikman, and Roger Staubach era, it's you can't help but have it be a big part of your life.
How do you research for Rusty Russell, who is the head coach that this is really based off of, knowing that if it happened during the Great Depression, you'd almost have to probably talk to relatives, right? Kids, grandkids, just to get a feel for what these people were all about?
Well, yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I mean, what really helped me with the role along with the book was I did get to spend a lot of time with his grandson, Russ Morton, who knew Rusty, of course, as his grandfather, and he was able to give me a lot of really good insight to the kind of person Rusty Russell was. So that was really helpful. And then also Ty Roberts, the writer and director of the movie, he had these tapes of Rusty Russell talking about his life. It was Rusty as an older man kind of looking back on his life. So I had these great tapes that I was able to listen to. So it was nice just to kind of hear his voice and also just to hear the stories that he had to tell.
Luke Wilson, one of the stars of 12 Mighty Orphans, joining us here on Sports Talk as we continue. It really is a fascinating story. And as you started filming this, did it take place prior to COVID, or did you guys actually work on this during last year's pandemic?
Yeah, no, it was before COVID. It was kind of that October, November, before the March that COVID hit. So yeah, I mean, I had so much fun on the movie, but little did I know it would be like, kind of the last time I'd worked for a long time.
I can imagine. But did you get all the filming done prior to, or did you have to go back and
we got all the filming done. We filmed it, we wrapped it, we did all the post-production on it. I mean, in a nice way, it did give us kind of maybe more time than we maybe normally would have had to kind of tweak it in the editing room and things like that. But yeah, it was, we didn't know how lucky we were at the time getting to make it, because I have since worked on a project during during this COVID era, and it's like you have a mask on, you get tested 3 times a week, and everybody on the crew has a mask and a face shield, and what it's done just kind of makes things more expensive.
I hear you. Luke, as far as this story goes, I can just relate because of Glory Road and what it did for El Paso and UTEP with the story of Coach Haskins and the Texas Western Championship team in '66 beating Kentucky. This is probably a story that's going to just bring to life this team, these group of players, the coach, and ultimately take it to another level to where really they become immortalized on the silver screen.
Yeah, I mean, that would be, you'd only aspire to have something be one of those sports movies that people love. It's like, like you, I grew up with like Slapshot and Hoosiers and North Dallas 40 and Rudy and, like you were saying, Glory Road. So yeah, that would be great if people could kind of learn more about this orphan football team and what they did. And I mean, it really was they really did capture the imagination of the nation.
You've got a great cast. I want you to talk about that, as well as filmmakers who are fellow Texans. So it seems like this was really a very big Texas project, from your involvement to the filmmakers and I'm sure all the cast and crew, since you film mostly in the Fort Worth area.
Yeah, I mean, so many times these days, you if you are filming a real life story, you don't get to shoot in the place where it actually occurred. So to get to do this story that took place in Fort Worth and to shoot it in Fort Worth felt very lucky to get the chance to do that. And yeah, it was a real Texas shoot where you had a lot of Texas cast and crew, and then Ty Roberts, the director's a Texan. And so all that stuff was great. And it really adds to the fabric of the movie. And then we did have some great outsiders like Martin Sheen and Robert Duvall came and did a day. And so, yeah, I think we really got the chance to work on something special and could not have done it any place but Texas.
What is it about the story that you think people are going to enjoy the most when they get a chance to see 12 Mighty Orphans for the first time?
Well, I just think it's one of those things where it's an underdog story, to be sure. And anytime you kind of have, you know who you're rooting for. It's like this ragtag bunch of orphans, out on the prairie in Texas in the Depression, and during the Dust Bowl. And so they're hard on their luck. And then they have this coach come into their life who believes in them, and they believe in him, and they're able to kind of accomplish something great. So it really is incredible what they managed to do, considering where they came from and what they started with, because they were competing against these much bigger programs, like Highland Park in Dallas and things like that, where they had all this kind of money and prestige, and they were able to not just compete against them, but beat them.
Luke Wilson with us here on Sports Talk. Have you ever coached prior to this movie, coaching your kids throughout youth sports or anything like that, or was this completely new to you?
My brother Andrew and we coached a soccer team called the Terminators in the early 90s. It was my high school girlfriend's little brother's soccer team, and her mom asked us to coach it. And yeah, we had a blast. We had a blast coaching these kids, and they were really fun, cute kids. But yeah, they were only like 8 at the time, so you couldn't really tell them to do much. At that stage, they kind of move in a pack.
Absolutely. So no chance for you ever to get involved and want to get into high school coaching once your acting career, you decide, all right, let's try something different. Let's go out and start coaching high school.
I don't know that I know enough about strategy to be a coach, but yeah, and I was lucky enough to have some great coaches in high school. I had a great football and track coach. It was the same person, this man, Jerry Reese. But yeah, he really changed my life and was a really great coach and a cool guy.
Do you still follow the Cowboys? Is that your first love when it comes to the NFL?
Yeah, still follow the Cowboys. That's kind of my main team, and then I watch a lot of golf. So this past weekend was pretty wild.
Absolutely, especially for Phil, no doubt about that. Do you think you'll ever see a Super Bowl championship in your lifetime with the Cowboys? Another one?
Well, Yeah, I mean, I can't believe how long it's been since the last Super Bowl. And it's amazing how long it shows the power of winning a Super Bowl is that, like, I still kind of feel that Aikman era, but it's like, that's 25 years ago now. But yeah, there's no way those guys don't make it back to the Super Bowl in my lifetime.
All right. The name of the film is 12 Mighty Orphans. Luke Wilson's been kind enough to give us some time here from Sony Pictures Classics. Going to be opening up very soon. Congratulations on the film. It's great getting a chance to visit with you for a few minutes and enjoy the conversation very much.
Steve, thanks a ton. I really appreciate it, and have a great summer. And yeah, really nice talking to you.
You too. From Luke Wilson, we'll get it back to more of your phone calls. Stay with us. Sports Talk continues right here at 600 ESPN El Paso.